time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, Johnny!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Johnny, hey! Oh, yeah!
Did the guitar face.
Ibuprofen's under buy again in my online shopping cart. Every week I learn something else I should be doing for my heart. If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed. My hair grows in my ears and nose now more than on my head. As a kid, to me, ancient history was something like World War I. But I arrived close to that time, and this year as I sing this song, and I'm starting to find I can wrap my mind around life is brief and dear. I can hardly believe my baby girl's turned 26 this year. Oh, a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see everybody. 100 years ain't what it used to be. Before you know it, you're 63, making plans for Medicare A and B. You look around yourself and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1734, March 11th, 2026. 68 degrees on this day just 2 years ago in 2024. Boy, we're not having that today, are we? And it was 27 below on this day in 1948. Do yourself a favor. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
GLers will appreciate this. I'm crestfallen.
Oh.
I learned yesterday, Kenny,
Yes.
he might.
Bring it on.
I have fallen for these videos where guys ostensibly restore old pieces of machinery that
Yeah.
are so covered in rust that you can't even tell what the piece of machinery was for.
Or dust.
Well, this one's the steel stuff they restore is machinery, like an old type of vice or something.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Okay.
I know that guy.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
it turns out,
Yeah.
well, they're fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put fake rust on them.
fake
I
rust?
just think, the world's got enough. Can't I get a little pleasure watching this guy bring a vice back to life and then not be told at the end this is fake?
Fake patina.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
I got it.
Same with some cars. Oh, watch, I'll bring this $500,000 Ferrari back to life. Who left a Ferrari in a swamp? Nobody. Nobody.
Matthew, your impromptu skills will be required shortly. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I think we're missing a big opportunity here. Here at Hubbard Broadcasting, we welcome any and all endorsement products. Here is Garage Logic's Matthew Mikulski for Fake Rust.
If that car's got a little polish on it that needs a little bit of, work done, if you know what I mean, to make it look a little realistic, because no car can drive around in pristine condition, especially in Minnesota, then you want Rust On. Rust On is a product made solely here in Monticello, Minnesota, comes right out of the plant and right into the bottle. If you want it, Rust On is the product for you.
But I have a question.
Rust
about that.
on!
For what purpose would you want rust on?
Nobody's going to believe you're driving around in a Triumph that's in pristine condition in Minnesota. They're going to think it's fake or AI somehow. So you want to just on the wheel well. It doesn't have to be the entire car, but on the wheel well, maybe on a keyhole on the trunk.
Yeah.
Just enough to be believable.
And I can buy this product.
Rust On, a wonderful product in the world of beautiful cars.
Thank you. That's very good.
God damn it, you're brilliant.
Rust on.
Rust On.
No, I'm through with that little speech, but I
Okay.
was just heartbroken. I want to. That wasn't real.
I knew you would not disappoint.
Now you got
you for your
acid. You got your acid geysers spewing.
Are we spewing?
We're spewing
Are
in
they acid or alkaline?
it's acid, acidic.
Oh,
They're
boy.
They're called
acidic
acidic, yeah.
gushers in Yellowstone. So that means any minute now that's going to blow up.
Kaboom.
And then you got a Catholic priest warning us that the stage is set for the rise of the Antichrist, because apparently we're in the right part of the world for this to happen. The Antichrist is a figure in Christian theology believed to be a powerful deceiver who will oppose Jesus and lead many people away from faith before the end of the world. Speaking on the Sean Ryan show, Father Chad Ripperger said, the Antichrist has to be able to rule the world. He's not going to rule through governance. He's going to rule through economies. Oh.
Really?
He explained that several conditions described by early church leaders appear to be unfolding in modern society. Early Christian theologians taught that the Antichrist would emerge during a period of widespread moral collapse. Well, we're certainly seeing that here and other places. Something he believes has already been underway for decades. That's happening since the 50s. There's been an implosion where people just aren't following the laws of God and the natural law in any sense of the term. Reproductive said, agreeing that the stage is set for the rise of the Antichrist. Okay. Well, that's just something to think about. Tuck that one away.
Is the Antichrist, this is the one I wrestle with, is it a person or is it a thing or is it a concept?
I've always thought of it as an individual.
Me too. But recently, I've been questioning myself.
Well, this fellow says we're almost there, where you could literally just decide, look, unless you're going to sign off on certain things, you're not going to have access to digital currency that we're going to enact worldwide. Well, it sounds like this guy thinks it's not a person, it's the economy.
Yeah. If it is a person, some of the traits we are to look for is excessive pride, boasting, a tendency to be divisive, and a mouth of a lion, which means aggressive speech as aligning with biblical descriptions.
I can't think of anybody like that.
Neither can I. The Antichrist as a metaphor have interpreted it as a metaphor for leaders or individuals whose actions and words are seen as fundamentally opposed to the teachings of Jesus.
Well, in Christian prophecy, the Antichrist is described as an end times figure. Well, that brings us back to a person who will rise to global power as a charismatic but deceptive leader. They say the Antichrist will be so charismatic, and at least a person has specific graces of God, you're going to easily get sucked into what he teaches and what he professes. Mm-hmm. I can't think of anybody like that.
I don't know if we have anybody like that this minute.
I can't think of anybody
I'm
like that.
not sure.
Yeah. He added that the figure will reject Christ while presenting himself as humanity's savior. I can't think of anybody like that either.
You're going further
According
away.
to these interpretations, the Antichrist will be empowered by Satan. I prefer Beelzebub. I just think it's a better word. Prosecute. Let's see. According to these interpretations, the Antichrist will be empowered by Satan, persecute believers, and demand loyalty or worship. I just wish we had. I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
But the talk of a war, a religious war among nations of the world, that seems like we're closer than ever.
I think so. Well, there's a picture of this Father Chad Ripperger. He's an older sort. He looks very wizened. Maybe he's not a crackpot.
Does he look like he plays golf?
Yeah. Maybe. Not as often as some people. There you have it.
Born in Casper, Wyoming. He's 61. University of San Francisco. Oh.
Yeah.
University of San Francisco, BA. U.S. University of St. Thomas, MA.
Right here?
Well, I always forget if that's the one here or the one over in Rome. Holy Apostles College and Seminary and Pontifical University of the Holy Cross.
So an educated guy.
A very educated. University of St. Thomas in Houston, Texas. I'm sorry.
What's he drive, Matthew?
Well, we don't know what he drives.
Volkswagen Tiguan.
Really?
Why did you look at me like, are you really that's in here? Why did you
Well,
look at me
because
like
you
it's
said
really-
Volkswagen
I
Tiguan.
knew he was so foolish.
That's part of doing the job, Joe.
Imagine, he stopped, he looked at me like, whoa, you know what color?
I
it was
actually
this.
scored-
What, is
I
it two-wheel
scored him
drive or is
2
it
po-
four-wheel?
I gave him 2 points for that quick reaction.
It was
I thought
this, too, it was.
That was really good. You can tell he's been on the job for a long time.
Here's the problem. The reaction was so quick, I thought he was reading
I know.
that.
That was
Yes.
brilliant.
It's an art.
But
It's
you
not,
have to know.
It's not in there?
Correct.
Joe, you have to know he would never drive a Tiguan.
No.
I mean, come on, not that model.
The fact that he knows how to do it to you every time.
Well, we don't have to dwell on that,
right
all
here.
right?
I think, Chris, it's more Joe than it is Matthew.
100%.
Well, speaking of Reavers,
Although Matthew did good there.
Speaking
Ken.
of Reavers, I got a great note today from Daniel Kelberg. He's up in Big Lake.
That's by St. Cloud somewhere.
It's up that way. And he wants Reavers to stop with the Christy Gnome nonsense. She looks like the love child of James Edward Olmos and Ray Liotta. Okay? I happen to agree.
Yeah, I do too.
Everybody has their number, huh?
Okay, that's a home run line right there.
And then he concludes, she's just nasty. Maybe Vision World could sponsor the show and help Chris's failing eyesight.
Wow.
It's not even eyesight. It's more like
More like
The
St. Paul
love
Eye
child
Clinic.
of Edward Olmos and Ray Liotta.
it's one of those things too, where it's like, boy, this weekend's gonna be awesome.
Can the Antichrist be female?
Wow.
She's not well
GL
liked
Joe
enough.
at 1500 ESPN.
Why can't
That's
they?
ballsy.
She's not well liked enough.
Yeah.
She's almost universally hated.
Well, how about the defense secretary of our country? Oh, don't worry. I'm getting to the shocker of the day, but I'm kind of taking my time getting to
You're
it.
building up, aren't you?
That's one way to look at it.
Attaboy.
John, you'll have to join me in this.
Yes, sir.
It's been floating around that Pete Hegseth, he heads up the Department of War.
Mm-hmm. What is it good for?
He blew $22 million on steak and lobster in a single month. But I have also read Hegseth Department of Defense spent $93.4 billion. Let me repeat that. $93.4 billion on grants and contracts in September 25, nearly 50% of which was expended in the last 5 business days of the month.
Tell us why, though. I think the policy in place is the big evil thing here.
Well, and now I turn to John because I was telling John before the show, I don't find it plausible. If he was buying tanks and helicopters, it's plausible.
But, Joe, what I'm seeing here is there's a policy that we have, and I hope, John, you have this, of use it or lose it with this money, the budgets, and that they have to spend at the end of their budgetary year.
That's correct, yes.
Or lose it. And that whole policy is absolutely ridiculous.
Any
Go ahead,
leftover
John.
funds could be removed from the budget the following year. So if they don't spend it at that point, they go out and they spend it all.
Okay, John, what have you found
Wow.
to this is a real story apparently. This is not tweet.
It's an analysis by a nonprofit watchdog, Open the Books, and that is run by American Transparency Charity, founded in 2011. It collects and publishes, this is where this came from, government spending data, including expenditures and all the expenditures we heard about. There's a lot of food on the stuff that they listed yesterday.
Well, did
You're
he
going top
buy
shelf.
some weapons?
No, a grand piano I saw for $198,000 or some
But
odd
that's
number like that.
John, we're talking billion. It's hard to spend $1 billion, much less $94 billion.
Well, they said 2 million on Alaskan king crab. This is just in September.
Okay.
Yeah, this was all, John, it all was in September. They had to spend it in September.
in the last 5 days, Kenny.
Oh, that's not what I'm seeing.
Yeah, the last 5 days of September. Just
Of September.
The thing
Of
is,
September.
I'm not disputing this because even Grok affirmed, is that the right word? All of these numbers, but I think the 94 billion is the total amount.
That is the total amount.
for
and
September.
For
Yeah,
one
in
month.
September.
No,
Yep.
well, I'm saying, okay, all right, go ahead.
93.4 billion September.
And I just came for my tax guy this morning.
Because Johnny, this says fiscal year end. Again,
Yeah.
I'm saying this is ridiculous.
Yeah, we need to change this. This is
I think it's this according to usaspending.gov. It says in September fiscal year end. Again,
Right.
this is
right. We brought that up.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So
Yeah.
that's the end of the fiscal year. So that month they have to go spend all this money or lose it.
But
And
to
that's when
answer
they spend
Joe's
it.
question, they didn't spend 94 billion just in the month.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah,
they
they
in
did.
September.
They
did.
Year
did.
end. That's your financial end.
That's oh my God.
Could have.
Why is this even in place? Why is this a thing? My goodness.
15.1 million on ribeyes.
Well, because I guess the reason I mention it that way is because when I go to usaspending.gov, and again, this is embarrassing if this is the case, but this is for the fiscal year. In other words,
Chris.
Yes, Joe?
I think one thing that might help you is look up the annual Defense Department budget. I'm sure it's more than $94 billion.
It was a 93.4 is what was left, Chris. They still had that money in the coffers. They had to spend it before the end of September or have it taken away.
And rather than do the right thing and have it returned to the taxpayers or put in the general fund or whatever.
How can that not be the number one thing? Anything left over goes right back to the taxpayers.
Instead, they're buying stuff. They're buying pianos and lobsters. But again, for $94 billion, obviously there has to be some ordinance in there that you can't spend $94 billion on pianos and lobster. You just can't. It doesn't work.
Oh, well, Joe, they went to the Apple store. They bought stickers for kids.
Yeah, they did buy some.
Yeah, I saw they went to the Apple store.
That Steinway wasn't cheap. That was $98K.
$225 million on furniture.
Okay, time out. Rookie just handed me this. It's now breaking.
It's sent to us from a mall.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry has vetoed an ordinance that would have extended eviction notices to 60 days. So he did the right thing. We talked about it all day yesterday. You had Ari Chardhuri or whatever the hell her name is. She doesn't want people to even pay rents. She came up with this harebrained idea to extend out to 60 days before they had to pay, and all of that would have done is ruin their life even worse than it is now. So Fry did veto that.
Thanks,
now,
Mo.
I don't know if that can be can his vetoes be overturned by a council vote?
Ooh,
Probably.
You know what they're going to have now in that Minneapolis public office? Dissension.
Yeah. Back to Pete Hegseth.
Here's the deal, okay? $93.4 billion in September of 2025 alone. The most any agency has spent in a single month. Over half that amount of the 93.4 spent in the 1 month, $50.1 billion was spent in the last 5 days of September.
Yeah, that's
the
what
goal
I
was. The goal was to spend the remainder of the Pentagon's fiscal year budget of $849.8 billion.
You hear that, Chris? Their annual budget's $850 billion. That's a lot of money. Yeah.
Much of the money was spent on food. In September alone, the Pentagon bought over $2 million in Alaskan crab, $15.1 million on ribeye steak, $6.9 million on lobster tail, $1 million in salmon, $26,000 for sushi preparation tables, and let's see.
Okay, but
dessert
even
spending,
that's just your walking around money when you're talking about $1 billion. So again,
pocket money.
Again, I have to assume that they bought some tanks and helicopters.
Some of the stranger buys include $98,000 on a Steinway grand piano for Chief of Staff of the Air Force's residence, and $22,000 for a custom flute from Muramatsu.
well, I can understand.
Well, you got to have the
You
right
guys
flute.
It's got to be a good one, custom.
You got to have a
Furniture.
good flute.
Yes.
$225.6 million during the month of September.
How much, John?
$225.6 million.
Well, I'm
Furniture.
sure that's fuel and airplanes and bullets and
that's
Lobster, car wax.
It's stickers for kids, Joe.
stickers.
new Apple
Bibs.
Watches.
They probably bought a lot of rust on based upon that last endorsement.
Now, this has gone on before, too. In 2024, the Pentagon spent $79 billion in September as an end of fiscal year thing.
So what's 79 plus 84? That's how much surplus.
94.
Then their budget's too big.
Either that, or we need to change things. So if there's a surplus, it either rolls over, or you're right, it goes back to the taxpayers.
Let's bring it to the local environs. I could be wrong, but I believe that the Department of Public Works, for example, in St. Paul or Minneapolis, they have a budget for salt and sand. If there's a bunch of salt and sand left over at the end of the year, they write it off and they get new salt and sand the next year. Why don't you keep the salt and sand?
Right.
Well, what am I saying? Is it wrong or?
Are you kidding me?
No.
What do you mean by get rid of?
Well, the next year will contain the same amount in the budget for sand and salt, even though they got piles of it left from the previous year.
Oh, well, as long as it's still there.
Well, I don't think they take it and throw it in the river. I mean, I think they keep it in a warehouse or something.
Crick.
Yeah.
The creek.
Gee whiz. You know what?
That's CRICK.
Crick.
This is what are we doing here?
What
and
are we-
Schumer,
what
of
are we
course,
doing?
Schumer gets on board and he starts ripping them and everything. Like he knows what's going on here, but any chance to kick the right, well, I guess that goes for both sides. Never mind. I'll just withdraw that last statement.
You know, we're all screwed, Kenny. It doesn't
Be
matter.
quiet now.
Right, left, middle.
It really doesn't. Yeah.
All right. Have a good show. Thanks.
And that's a good-looking sports.
And the fact that they've been arguing and bitching and moaning about this for years and not changing anything just shows you how much they really truly care about Kenny and his family at Jackass Ranch.
They don't.
They don't. I don't
Okay,
think they
great.
know
Thanks
me.
a lot for that look into sports, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Why not just roll it over? I don't understand that. Like
I
Ken
just
said.
got done telling you. They do it in St. Paul. You don't roll it over. You get a new hunk of money and you buy more sand and salt.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna
In the
start
case,
running my
I think that's a
bank
bad example because you need the sand and salt. And wouldn't the goal be to have some left at the end of the year?
Well, I'm not saying they're going out and buying lobsters. I'm
But
telling
just because we use, say 10,000 tons of salt in 2025, 26 doesn't mean we're going to use that much or less next year.
you. No, but here's what I do, Kenny.
Okay.
Here's what I do.
All right. I'm listening.
I would, if I was the king of St. Paul,
Of St. Paul.
I would.
Is that a new position?
I would say, how much sand and salt do we have left? And they'd say, I don't know, 48 cubic yards or whatever. And I'd say, well, dumb that down for me. Is that a month's worth? Is that 2 months worth? That's 2 months worth, sir. See, because they'd call me sir.
Right.
You're the king.
Your
Yeah, 'cause
Honor,
I'm the- 'cause
Your
I'm the-
Excellency.
Because I'm the king.
Your Eminence.
And I'd say 2 months, huh? Well, then this year you get enough money for 3 more months. That's how I would do it.
You know how the county highways up here handle ice and snow?
They hope it goes away.
The sun. Yeah.
Hashtag it'll melt.
See, I just don't think our money is well taken care of.
You don't say.
I'm just arriving at that
You don't
conclusion.
tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait till you hear what's coming up, though.
Oh, boy.
It's we might
doozy?
leave. We might leave after I do the next.
Okay, a
one.
doozy, folks.
John, you're on your own for the news.
Is that carpet guy still there hammering?
No, they're gone. They just took off. Everything
Okay.
looks good. Smells awful, though. I mean, just.
I don't like the smell of new carpeting. I'm sure it's full of carcinogens, and you'll all be dying within a month.
I think the real question in here, John, is why have you had new carpet installed 3 times in the last 3 months? What kind of crime scene are you living at
It's
there?
about 9 months.
We
not
blame
3
Larry.
months, but yeah,
Does
Larry
Larry
said-
have explosive diarrhea?
No, his paws kept getting caught in the last one. They weren't supposed to. It was guaranteed that wouldn't happen, and so the rug basically fell apart.
There's really no guarantee.
Did they replace
was.
it for free?
They every replacement we've had's been free because the carpet wasn't up to par.
You know, there's a joke there, and I'm going to refrain for that. But if you're a
Thank
town
you.
council member, just buckle up.
You want
Is it
your
something about the drapes, matching the drapes?
Yeah. You want your tell me. You want your garage door replaced?
Sure.
Well, Precision Garage Door has new models of new doors for every budget, and right now GLers get $400 trade-in credit for your old garage door when you purchase a new garage door. The designer comes out, you shoot the breeze, bing, bang, boom, you select your new door, increase the value of your home, save energy, better security. You can integrate it with home security. And if you like your current door and you think it's just fine, but you're a little, you've neglected the maintenance, let's say, you can book with Precision Door a $79 safe and sound package. They throw the diagnostics at it. 25-point diagnostic report. Like a stethoscope and stuff.
25-point safety inspection.
Well, they got it all figured out.
Why have you turned into Cliff Clavin?
Yeah, back in the early 1500s.
Book online at Precision Door MN, one word, precisiondoormn.com, or call Precision Door at 612-263-0000. 6985 to schedule your free on-site new door estimate or book a safe and sound package with Precision Door. That's where you get the phrase.
The earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
So I'm sitting here thinking about my chemical shelf and carpeting and a big roast beef at Arby's. And I'm wondering, GLers, if you have the same thing I have on my I've got chemicals on my shelf that have been around just like garage wood. I mean, seriously, probably 30 years old. I have no idea why they're there, what they're used for, but I just don't throw them away because you don't throw chemicals away from your chemical shelf. There's 3 things you should always have on that chemical shelf, and they're all from Seafoam. Number 1, the bugs be gone. That makes getting rid of bugs from your windshield in the summer months fun. It's enjoyable. Spray it on, watch them melt away and slide down the glass. Then there's the Seafoam Deep Creep, the best penetrating oil available. And, of course, as always, the Seafoam motor treatment. We've been using that since the early 40s. It really does work. Gas, diesel, big engine, small engine, it doesn't matter. The big 3, the GLer's Car Care Kit. Get them on your chemical shelf or your cabinet today. And look them up and read about them on the website, seafoamworks.com. Our own local company with a global reach. Our friends, Seafoam.
You ready?
Let's hear it. This has been build up, man.
A proposed bill in the Minnesota Senate would amend the definition of wild rice to include the words, "It is the policy of this state to recognize the inherent right of wild rice to exist and thrive in Minnesota." Opponents asked what inherent right means and how it would be enforced, arguing that the language opens up the state to potential litigation. Indigenous rights and environmental advocates say there are great risks to wild rice. Wild rice is viewed by Native Americans as a living being and relative. So your relative would be the wild rice in certain Native American ideologies.
They call it Manomin.
But the proponents of this believe wild rice is threatened by pollution and climate extremes. Well, there's always been climate extremes. Let me get this straight.
Check this out.
Back it on up.
This is proposed by somebody named Senator Mary Kunish. She represents, parts of Ramsey County, for example.
New Brighton, that
Brighton. DFL New Brighton. And she's the advocate for this. She believes wild rice should have rights, which I can only conclude would mean that there would be, I suppose, increased regulation on how it would be harvested.
It also means you can't upset that wild rice bed.
You can't scare it, for example. You can't. You couldn't paddle over there and go boo. That would be
Right.
So we're going to give wild rice rights. So I got curious about this Kunish. She claims to have, I'm not claims, that's unfair of me. She says she has Native American heritage in her life, so that wild rice might be more particularly important to her, for example,
Of
than
course.
some other
Sure, that's not
legislator.
disputable.
So I looked her up. I started by looking her up. Who do we have among us that's representing us that wants to give a plant? That wants to give plant.
Well, Joe, everybody deserves the right to live.
Let me give the right term again. No, it has a right to exist and thrive. Wild rice has a right to exist and thrive. She is an American politician, as we now know, District 39. She was 9 of 13 kids in St. Paul, raised in Sartell. Her grandma and mother were enrolled citizens of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, and her dad was a St. Cloud City attorney and later an assistant Stearns County attorney. Her sister, Patrice, is commissioner of the Administration for Native Americans. She went to Cathedral High School in St. Cloud, St. Catherine University in St. Paul. She's a librarian by trade.
Okay, that's a red flag.
Wait a minute. No.
She's been in office since, she's been in the Senate since 2021. I think she was a House member and then upgraded herself to Senate. But she believes wild rice should have a right to exist and flourish. So I got curious. Wonder where she stands on abortion.
Oh, boy.
Well, Chris, I mean, you're giving wild rice the right to exist and thrive. You would think such a person would feel at least the same way about a human.
Would you like to hear from Mary?
Sure.
Okay, any discussion on the A2 amendment? Senator Drokowski.
No, I don't want to hear him.
Oh, okay.
I only wanted to hear her.
I can give you a little hint before we go any further.
No, I got it. But
I do want to hear what you have to say. In 2018, they adopted the rights of Manumin, the wild rice, and made the wild rice the lead plaintiff in a lawsuit over that Line 3 pipeline.
Oh.
So I think they're positioning themselves legally for future action. But I'm
maybe to
curious
stop mining.
to mining, for roads, for you name it, whatever it is. But I want to know what she says about abortion. You really piqued my interest. I can guess.
Here is from April 10, 2023, written in her own hand. On Friday, federal judges in Texas and Washington issued separate contradictory decisions on the future of medication abortion across the country. A Texas judge suspended the Food and Drug Administration's approval of mifepristone, one of 2 drugs commonly used to end a pregnancy, while a separate case in Washington state ordered the FDA to refrain from making any changes to the availability of mifepristone, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Minnesota legislative leaders and reproductive rights advocates, including Senator Mary Kunish, held a press conference, and Mary Kunish said the following: Friday's conflicting federal court decisions to underscore the urgency of the Minnesota legislature's work to protect Minnesota's fundamental right to the full spectrum reproduction health care. The rulings demonstrate that we cannot rely on courts stacked with anti-choice judges to apply the rule of law fairly. For the sake of all Minnesotans and the people in surrounding states who look to us for safe access to health care, that means abortion, we must protect our health care providers and any patients who come to Minnesota, because we're a welcome state for that. You need an abortion, you get your ass in Minnesota, we'll take care of you. coming to Minnesota to seek reproductive care. We must strike any antiquated, medically unsound laws on reproductive health care from Minnesota's legal code. We must pass the Reproductive Freedom Defense Act and Reproductive Freedom Codification Act so that Minnesota remains a state that treats reproductive health care patients with dignity, despite these attempts to confuse providers and deny patients the care they need. All right. And then I have another one from September 24th, 2021. So her Kunish's track record as a pro-choice legislator is well established. She was a charter member of the Reproductive Freedom Caucus in Minnesota. There's quite a few of the gang is in that caucus. She was a staunch early candidate for that, and she wants to give wild rice the right to exist and thrive. Does that make sense? I know they're two different topics, but this is...
It really doesn't make sense to have a plant have rights.
I mean, she goes out of her way to make Minnesota... I think I'm on safe ground to say she goes out of her way to establish herself as having her arms open to any woman in the country who wants to make it to Minnesota. We'll take care of you and get rid of that kid. But by the way, when you're here, don't mess with the wild rice.
Don't pull off on the side of the road.
Don't pull off on the side of the road or get a canoe and go out there and screw around with that wild rice.
I believe you have to have I think it's actually a $2 license.
Probably have to have a permit.
Yeah, you do, to harvest wild rice if you're not a native. But yeah, it's a real cheap
Now you might
license.
wonder, well, can a guy really draw an analogy between a child and wild rice?
That's what I'm thinking.
That's why you're the mayor.
It sure would be nice to hear a legislator once in a while say, we sure encourage the right of children to thrive and exist. You know, you're not going to hear that from her. You're going to hear that about wild rice.
I have more of a... I'm sorry, Chris. I
Go
want
ahead.
to hear that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Who is this?
This is Jessica Intermill on the House floor yesterday talking about Senate File 3749, the amending description, Joe and crew, of wild rice as a state grain.
First, this bill applies the legal inherent rights doctrine to a plant that has been in Minnesota since long before there was a Minnesota. That doctrine does not grant any right to wild rice. Rather, it recognizes that the plant's inherent right to live exists because it is alive. First, this...
Oh, it exists because it's alive.
Sure.
I'll be damned.
So
Do we have the same thing about the lady slipper, the official plant or flower of the state?
I doubt that there's a specific piece of legislation that says the lady slipper gets to exist. It's just our state flower.
I think I'm supposed to be driving around them when they grow on the little roads we have through our woods.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I don't know if I have.
Wild rice, is that one of our staples in this state?
Well, we're known for it. Minnesota grows more wild rice than any other state in the union.
That's what I
The
thought.
funny thing is
Okay.
about wild rice, you can not only can you plant it yourself, but a lot of these little potholes and sloughs are planted by ducks and birds that drop it in, and then it sinks down into the muck and it grows from there. Yeah. And I don't like the thought of, we have a couple potholes that we've planted with wild rice and one that the birds planted. I don't like the thought of the state or somebody coming in and saying, I can't take a boat through there with a 3-horse motor, or I can't do whatever I want on this body of water that's surrounded by my land.
That's part of the legislation that you couldn't have a motorized vehicle near the rice.
That's just more interference
because
from the
wild rice doesn't like noise.
No, it wants to be calm.
It's more interference from the state. What are they going to say about all the swans that if a swan decides to make your pothole its home, it will tear up all the wild rice from the roots, and you won't have any more wild rice.
Then you can put the swan down.
which is also a protected species.
The lady slipper is protected by law. Does that mean it has rights? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
No, there's
protected by
probably a
state
law that you can't hack down a lady slipper.
There's a law since 1925 in Minnesota. It's illegal to pick the lady slipper or uproot or unearth any of the plants.
What about drive over it in a side-by-side?
No mention of that.
It's tough to beat a bowl of wild rice soup in the winter.
Oh, I think wild rice is a nice treat.
I think
Chicken wild rice?
even.
I love it. Yeah,
Chicken or turkey, it really doesn't.
Turkey, come on here.
After Thanksgiving.
But this is
turkey
just
wild
more
rice.
government intrusion, and I see what they're doing here. They're going to use it in future court cases against roads and pipelines and you name it.
That's true.
Against thanks, Matt.
Trying to stay Switzerland here with the Ojibwe side.
Matthew's trying to stay neutral.
Yeah, I'm going Switzerland.
Are you pro or anti wild rice?
I love wild
I
rice.
just write down.
And they mentioned one of the reasons in the story they mentioned that the harvest has been down in recent years, and natives have been looking for places to harvest. We've had them approach us, and we let them go ahead. We tell them where it's at, and they go down there and they beat all that rice into the bottom of their canoe and haul it away, and see you later, pal. No big deal.
Yep.
But when we eat wild rice, we just go to the store and buy it.
I believe it's still available.
It is.
It's
very available.
Well, that's your legislative update for the.
Here's today's legislative update.
Why don't you do what you got to do?
Less laws, more freedom. Come on.
More banking done with North American Banking Company. You know what? They're proud to be here in the great state of Minnesota and in the Twin Cities, and they have been doing things differently since way back in 1998 when they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers where you get to know your banker and they also get to know you. And you get that feeling anytime that you walk into any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations, whether it's Woodbury, Shoreview, Hastings, Maple Grove, 50th in France, and also up in Roseville. And you know what? Here's the beauty of North American Banking Company. They still offer the same updated online and mobile banking tools as all of those other big national banks. But hi, how are you? Here's the key difference. You're going to get the unparalleled service of a community bank. And it doesn't matter what you're looking to do. Enhance your business? Yep, they got you taken care of. Want to buy a new home? Yep, they could take care of you. Finance a new home renovation project? They got you. And also buying a car? No problem at all. Their experts make it easy. But your first step is checking them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. Once again, it's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender.
No.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
Here's John Heidt.
Why, thank you, Joe. This news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. I'm just going to mention briefly, I know nobody here cares but me and Chris, but the USA lost last night in the WBC, and there's now a chance they might not make the finals.
If Mexico beats Italy, we are screwed.
Wait a minute.
I can't think of anything less interested.
This is baseball, right? It's not hockey, a sport that matters, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just baseball.
If
it's
Mexico wins, the U.S.
baseball.
You know
John,
what?
it's like
you shut up.
hopscotch.
If
It's
Mexico wins, the U.S. can still make it, but it has to be a low-scoring game or a high-scoring game. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's right, because
Red Rovers,
So
and Johnny right over.
If Mexico beats Italy 12-11, then the U.S. will go.
Baseball is the duck, gray duck of sports.
I just don't associate baseball with Italy. I'm sorry.
Italy,
Well, here's why I was going to
beat the U.S. I mean,
Here's what I was going to mention, though. It's funny to watch. The USA's got a very good team. Japan obviously has a very good team with Ohtani and such. But Italy's got guys that, my great-grandfather once slept with a gal that was in Italy, 50,000 years ago.
You can have a pet from Italy.
Right. That's their attachment to the country.
We like spaghetti.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Mom bought Prego.
How about the electrician on the Czechia team?
Oh, do you know this story?
I don't.
This is straight GL. No, this is straight
Electrician.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Johnny, go ahead.
The electrician, that's what he does for a living, was on the Czechia team, which is apparently the old Czechoslovakia. I didn't know this.
Yeah.
And he pitched, 3 2/3, Chris?
Yeah,
Scoreless innings. Against
4 innings.
Japan, who has a very fine lineup.
Yeah.
And he got a standing ovation going off the field.
And here's what he did. He said, he talked to the reporter. He said, I had to take PTO to come pitch in this game, but this is pretty great. My boss is going to be pissed if I'm not back in the morning.
He spoke English that well?
Well, yeah. Well,
Is that good English?
Basically. I don't know. I just saw the
Where's this being played?
All over.
Everywhere.
All over. USA is in Houston.
That's great.
Another good story the other night. USA, a 17-year-old pitched against USA, and he was decent.
That was the young kid, wasn't it?
What country was that?
I got to get back to my job at Subway.
No, he actually is
you have
still
a
in
Subway
school.
card?
No, it's
He
just
stands-
child labor violations.
He's Jose Contreras' kid. Jose Contreras was a pitcher for the Yankees and White Sox. And
I'm aware of who Jose Contreras was.
anyway, let's move
Well,
along.
good luck to the lad.
Since Chris and I are the only two here that like fun, let's move on.
I love it, John. I think it's a fun tournament.
Baseball
I'm with Joe.
can
I
be
hate fun. Me and Joe.
I don't mind fun, but this is all pretend excitement. This is a bunch of
Yes.
BS.
You know what?
This
though?
isn't hockey.
If there
This isn't
wasn't,
hockey.
the only thing that is doing this a disservice is the fact that you had one of the most exciting Olympics in recent memory.
Well, who are you kidding? This is just an extended spring training game. It's just
but
would you rather watch that, or would you rather watch the Twins send a C squad up to Deep Haven and play the Braves?
Serious question. How are you going to feel if your favorite player for your favorite team gets injured?
And that's happened.
Hijinks, this nonsense.
question.
if I was the
Kenny.
Dodgers, there's no way I'm letting Ohtani play in this thing.
No way.
Well, he is.
I know.
And
I know
he would
he
have
is.
said, "Okay, well then I'll go retire."
Yeah.
Because he cares about Japan more than he cares about the
I don't
Dodgers.
care about Ohtani getting hurt. I do care about Judge getting hurt, though. He better not. In news, am I done already? No, I guess not.
No, you haven't started.
In news, I don't think I said this yet. Maybe I did, but the news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. As Minnesota residents continue to feel financial fallout from Operation Metro Surge, Ramsey County is offering some relief in the form of a short-term property tax extension. Yesterday, Ramsey County Manager Ling Becker announced the county treasurer will waive late fees for 2 months on the first half of 2026 property taxes for eligible taxpayers. Becker said while Operation Metro Surge may be winding down, its impacts have not. Our most vulnerable residents continue to feel the greatest impact. Applications for the tax extension are open through July 15th. The program applies to the following property types, non-escrowed homestead properties, non-escrowed small businesses with an annual property tax bill of $50,000 or less, and rental properties of 1 to 3 units with an annual property tax bill of $20,000 or less.
Am I escrowed, I wonder?
You probably are.
Yeah, shoot.
If you're smart, you are. Yeah. Then you don't have to deal with it. Missing the deadline in St. Paul can lead to penalties of 5 to 25%, depending on the payment type and the interest accrued on delinquent taxes.
Yeah, and says the federal government, never mind the $2 million we just bought for a Saturday Night Lobster deal.
Well, those two don't.
I know, I said federal government. Never mind. I'm just.
That's a link my brain isn't capable of hooking up.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a preliminary impact assessment released by the city of Minneapolis estimates at least $203.1 million in losses in just 1 month, spanning wages, business revenue, housing needs, food access, mental health support, and direct city ops due to Operation Metro Surge.
You idiots told businesses to close.
The report warns that impacts will last in our community for years, if not decades or generations, and notes that at least 76,000 residents now need urgent relief assistance. Council President Elliott Payne said the council is working to address the community needs. An economist who reviewed the city's early numbers said the impact will unfold in 2 phases. The first includes immediate costs. King Bannon is from St. Cloud University. He's an economist. He said you're going to get overtime and emergency spending going up because you need more of your own peace officers working right away. He said the more significant pressure will come later. He said you're going to see the second impact, which is softer revenues. Sales taxes will go down, income tax flows, other tax flows will shrink as well, which means that next year's budget is the one that's going to have to get tighter. Xcel Energy says a mechanical issue caused an oil leak at the Monticello nuclear power plant. Company said the plant has been shut down for maintenance since February 20th, and on Tuesday morning, while testing equipment, operators found a problem with low oil levels in one of the motors that circulates water through the plant for cooling. The operators investigated and found that the component that keeps the motor's lubricating oil separate from the cooling water had failed. That allowed the water and oil to mix. Xcel said its teams isolated the equipment immediately from the water supply and notified federal, state, and local governments. The company estimates about 200 gallons of oil left the cooling equipment before it was shut down, with a portion of the oil making its way to the discharge canal. The discharge canal leads to the Mississippi River, but plant personnel said no oil reached the river.
Any word on whether Rust on the executives are on site to scoop up some of the this top stuff is the best.
For the next week, bids are open for a treasure trove of antique equipment and memorabilia from the Minnesota State Fair. Highlights include a collection of horse-drawn water wagons.
Joe, that would look good in the living room, wouldn't it? You're a fair guy.
You know, this isn't the first time they've had an auction. I'm sensing trouble.
What do you mean? Really? They've had
I'm sensing they're so desperate for money. They just keep finding crap to auction off.
How can they possibly?
You mean because of donations, like for the foundation?
I don't know.
And things
I'm
like
just
that?
telling you, they've had a number of auctions.
I'm with Chris. There's no way out there.
So what you're saying is $20 tickets ain't enough per day.
Yeah.
Also, you can pick up a pair of bronze moose statues.
Boy, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
How about now here? This is kind of fun.
Honey, you got to work with me on these bronze statues here.
Miniature John Deere pedal tractors. Does that mean the toy kind? You know, the
Yeah.
toys.
Yes.
Yep.
A towable 7-horse carousel. A vintage,
Wow.
Be nice to tow that around.
Cool.
I actually have a video of the moose statue Johnny was talking about.
Sorry, folks, we're closed for 2 weeks to clean and repair America's favorite family fun park. Sorry.
A vintage film projector. An old-fashioned phone booth. A gently used.
Oh, wait a minute. An old-fashioned phone booth
That
would be cool.
That
to
would
have.
be kind of cool.
Yes.
I could get on board with that. That'd be cool.
How about a circus tent stake driver? Wouldn't that just be a big hammer?
Be a big sledgehammer.
Yeah, sledgehammer.
Huge mall. Yeah.
Some items are available in bulk, like 62 pairs of the original seats from Lee and Rose Warner Coliseum. An assortment of signs, posters, and pictures capturing decades of State Fair history are also on offer. The auction closes Monday, March 16th, 1 p.m. Bids start at $1 for everything, and all items will be sold to the highest bidder.
Okay, where is this located?
Falcon Heights.
Yeah, it's from what I saw, the pictures, it looked like it was all lined up in one of the fair buildings.
Yeah.
But I think if you just go online,
I see.
you can probably find.
I want one of those old pickups from the 60s with the logo on it.
That'd be cool.
John, they didn't mention the some of the other items that I've heard. I know that you can purchase some slightly used wax hands equipment.
Sure. Sure.
There's been a cash call, so wax hands had to go.
So now when you sell that,
auction off
do the proceeds for that sale go right to your one and only investor? Or does that person also...
He knocks it off the tab.
Well, the fair takes 75%, so there's really not much after the
75% of nothing.
Yeah.
You know what? You got to
Angel
create
Mark.
some paperwork for me. So I can take that to my tax guy and write that off as a
right.
loss.
That's depreciation
Yeah.
over the years.
From
you know what I'm
15
saying?
years ago.
Yeah.
Concert series announcement at Surly. They made their first announcement of the season. Apparently, that's a good venue. I have not been to it.
It is very cool.
Yeah, I've heard
it's very cool. Yeah.
I went to the Armory last week. I thought that was very cool. That's the first time I've been there.
Did you have a seat or did you have to stand?
No, there are no seats except there's balconies where you can stand. The balcony would be incredible. That's what I will do if anybody else comes.
I would like to go to see the Armory. I just to see anything there, I think would be cool.
It's a neat place to watch a show.
It's very cool. Very cool. At Surly later this year, Brittany Howard and the Alabama Shakes, newly reunited after nearly decades of being apart, will perform August 28th and 29th. Tickets for both the Alabama Shake show go on sale March 13th, which is this Friday at 10 in the morning, with pre-sale options beginning tomorrow. San Francisco singer-songwriter Hannah Cohen will open both
What's
nights.
the big song we played? Didn't we play the Alabama Shakes and Bumps?
Yeah,
Probably.
It was a slow start. It was a great tune.
Yeah, it wasn't
Keep going on or something.
We didn't play
Hold
the
on.
single. We played something else.
Oh,
for it.
okay.
Or Hang Loose. Which one?
I think it was Hold On.
Hang on. Hold on. Whatever. Go ahead, John.
That's time to take a break is what that is.
Okay.
They sing
hear
that too?
from
Yep.
Mr. Reavers.
I'm not going to be doing any type of Alabama Shakes rendition, but I am going to talk about our friend Linda Keller. Speaking of taxes, KellerTaxService.com, Joe Soucheray. Get your wax hand documents in your hand and call Linda right now at 320-352-0013. Or also, don't forget, book your appointment online at KellerTaxService.com. What do we got here? March 11th, 2026. You've got about a month to go here before your deadline of tax filing
I have
season.
an announcement.
Go ahead.
She is done with mine. I once again am getting a nice check from the feds, and I owe the state about $1,000.
Okay.
And that's why Linda is the best.
Telling everybody.
He's going to take his Fed money and give her right to the state.
Yeah.
But you know what? It doesn't matter where you live. Let's say you're in the state of Minnesota. Linda's got you covered. You want to live in Phoenix? Linda's got you covered. Doesn't matter. All types of returns, all types of people. If you're a business owner, by the way, and especially a small business owner, Linda Keller is going to be able to help you out big time. And like I said, she's been handling my taxes for years. Johnny and Kenny have been going to Linda for a couple of years now. She's the absolute best. And if you go on that website, all sorts of updated tax information, and she handles all of it. And by the way, she's going to send you that packet every year to remind you, hey, sign this, do that, don't forget to do this. She's the best. Linda Keller and KellerTaxService.com. Book your appointment, and please do me a favor and let her know that you heard about her here on the Garage Logic Podcast. Johnny?
Thanks, Chris. In other news, the International Energy Agency said its member countries would release 400 million barrels of oil, the largest reserve distribution in history, in a bid to bring down crude prices that have soared during the war with Iran. Release of oil would more than double the agency's biggest prior release when IEA member countries in 2022 put 182 million barrels on the market after Russia invaded Ukraine. The IEA proposal is intended to counter the disruption caused by the near total closure of the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway that connects the Persian Gulf to global markets. About 1/5 of the world's oil supply moves through that strait, and the threat of attacks on tankers by Iran has brought shipments to a near standstill.
You know, Johnny started the newscast, Joe, by mentioning the World Baseball Classic. Did you hear about the Iran team?
No.
They just hit bombs.
Okay.
Isn't the baseball classic just like
That's
the
just,
Ryder?
it's just dreadful.
Sorry.
I mean, it wasn't funny, and it's horrible.
The
It's
Instagram
horrible.
AI I saw with an Iranian
We're done
guy
with this now.
shooting down a fighter on a flying carpet was pretty funny, though.
Yeah.
Like an Aladdin?
Yes.
Roughly 700,000 people in Lebanon, including about 200,000 children, have been displaced as airstrikes continue on Beirut today. Many are sheltering in stadiums and schools. Lebanese officials say the death toll is rising by about 100 people a day, with at least 570 people killed as of yesterday. Israel began bombing Lebanon last week after Hezbollah, the Iran-backed militant group, attacked Israel in retaliation for the killing of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Lebanon's government has called for talks with Israel aimed at disarming Hezbollah and postponed parliamentary elections for 2 years.
Can we go back to the Straits of Hormuz?
Yeah.
How exactly are they being blocked? According to Trump, we've destroyed all of Iran's equipment. Is the fear that they would bomb a ship with a drone if it moved?
They also put some mines.
Oh, mines.
Well, we shot some of those landmine droppers, didn't we? Those little boats that are dropping the mines. But I wouldn't have a brass pair enough to go through there.
Annual inflation held steady last month, but economists say the new numbers are pretty much obsolete already because of the conflict in Iran. Consumer prices rose 2.4% in February from a year earlier, according to the Labor Department this morning. That compared with 2.4% in January and was even with what economists surveyed by the Wall Street Journal had expected. Core prices, which exclude volatile food and energy items, rose 2.5% from a year ago, in line with expectations. Before the launch of the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran on February 28th, the inflation report would have been a key reading shaping expectations for Federal Reserve policy in the months ahead. It's been transformed by this conflict, though, into something more than a baseline, according to economists. Economists say they will measure whatever the war does to prices in the months ahead. Joseph Brusalis is the chief economist at RSM. He said this morning, shortly before the report was released, the February data is already pretty much inconsequential.
I'm sorry, I can't get the Straits of Hormuz out of my head. Would those wouldn't be mines, would they? They'd be depth charges. Isn't that what mines are called in water warfare?
I thought they were floating.
Floating mines.
They float just under the surface, don't they?
Okay. But in the old submarine movies, they always feared a depth charge.
Well, that was ships dropping charges.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been looking at the map. Can any of you guys name one city in Iran other than Tehran? Just give me one city.
Raleigh.
Santiago?
Raleigh?
Ishfashel or something like that.
Waterville. You are close.
Yeah.
You're kind of close. Isfahan?
Yeah, Isfahan.
Isfahan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matthew, you got one?
I went with Santiago, but
No,
I think
that's
that's
not
wrong.
it.
Yeah, a little too far.
Spain, yeah.
Can
Chris,
you
are you
name me
even
the
paying
countries
attention?
on the Straits of Hormuz? Wouldn't it be Iran, Yemen,
Oman,
Dubai, UAE?
Yeah.
Republican Clay Fuller and Democrat Sean Harris advanced yesterday from a crowded field to a runoff in the special election to replace former Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia. Fuller, a district attorney, benefited from President Trump's endorsement in the solidly GOP district in the northwest quarter of the state. Harris is a Democrat, a retired Army brigadier general and cattle rancher, lost to Greene in the 2024 general election in the 14th district. Neither candidate was projected to win the majority needed to avoid a runoff, with 99% of the vote expected, or with 99% of the vote in. Democrat Harris surprisingly led at 37%. Fuller was at 35%. Fuller, though, remains the April 7th runoff favorite. President Trump carried that district by 37 percentage points in the 2024 presidential race. President Trump says he won't sign any other legislation into law until Congress passes a strict proof of citizenship voting bill that he says also must end Americans' ability to vote by mail, something that the president himself has done multiple times in the past few years. Trump told the House Republicans during their annual retreat at his golf club in Florida he doesn't think they'll win elections unless voting laws are toughened up to prevent fraud, even though mail ballots are popular in many states and federal law already requires voters in national elections be U.S. citizens with scant evidence that non-citizens even try to vote. The president wants to bolster the so-called Save America Act, which the House has already approved, and he pressed the Senate to push past its filibuster rules to send it to his desk. Voting experts said the bill could disenfranchise about 20 million American voters who don't have birth certificates or other documents readily available. The bill, as approved by the House, would require voters to present proof of citizenship with a passport or birth certificate when they register to vote, and then show a photo ID when you cast ballots.
I asked Johnny before the news if this was going to be coming up, and he said yes. Here's a couple of pieces of audio I think are worth playing. Let's go to your guy, Joe, Chuck Schumer, on the Save America Act, shall we?
Sure.
Yes, but their bill isn't voter ID, number one. It is about voter registration. It makes it allows ICE to kick tens of millions of people off the rolls, and they don't tell them until Election Day, and you show up and you say, you're not registered anymore. You're not registered here. You're not on the rolls.
Stop that. I can't hear his voice. It's like scratching a blackboard.
Gotcha.
I can't hear his voice.
But well, if they're saying that there are tens of millions on the voter rolls, isn't that in and of itself a problem?
Yeah.
Who's saying that?
That's Chuck Schumer.
Chuck.
Okay.
Anything, Chris, Joe, anything the Democrats want, all they have to do is mention ICE. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised ICE didn't come into the wild rice conversation.
Well, that's a good point. Trump hates wild rice. You're right, Kenny.
I think he has a poor diet.
Who?
Trump.
He likes the big
I thought you were talking about me, and I'm like, yeah, so?
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious.
But I guess that's the quote that bothered me when he said tens of millions.
What do you
off the
think?
Voter rolls. That's bad.
By a poor diet.
But he's not saying they're not non-voters. That's what I don't understand why you...
I would rather argue about what Trump eats for...
I don't think he eats fruits and vegetables.
You think he's eating Ripple chips for breakfast?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Maybe a
Which
cold
is a
hot
shame,
dog.
Can you imagine the meals you could have with that chef there?
An uncooked
it's
fun dog.
I'd hang out in the
It's
kitchen.
my fantasy,
I'd hang out in the
yes.
kitchen. Make me a cheeseburger.
Yes.
Can you imagine how good those would be?
Give me a nice little steaks, thin
Yeah.
steaks.
Well, see, now, you think he's ordering from the top shelf. I think he's probably having Velveeta grilled cheese sandwiches.
Oh, jeez.
Kenny, you're missing it. President Mikulski, we have a international crisis. We have war in the Middle East. Yeah, I know. I'll get to that
I got
in a
a
minute.
brisket that's got an hour and a half. I got to flip it over, put the mustard sauce on. I'll send it down to the war room, but hang on. Put me on the Zoom. Put me on Zoom.
From New Mexico, tin foil hat.
Joe, President Mikulski, does that not terrify you enough?
Tell Such to quit calling me and tell me to get the hell out of the kitchen. We ain't got no butter.
It's bad enough that he runs an airport.
No butter.
No butter, no gravy.
John, you have a tinfoil hat
popcorn.
story?
Oh, you noticed?
Yeah, I did. I'm trying to pay attention.
Jesus. Tinfoil hat time, fellas, even though we got a little bit of that in the last 5 minutes. But let's move on to a different tinfoil
It's
hat.
not tinfoil hat when a Democratic.
He's talking about registered voters, Chris. Oh, Jesus.
What's the current story you're going to do?
Over 600 New Mexico residents have been alerted. This is what's ruined elections, Joe. Not the stuff you say. This is what's ruined elections.
What
This
has?
is BS.
What?
Huh?
What
Pretending
has?
that there's this huge issue, that there's millions and millions of voters.
I'm not arguing with you.
I know, but
I'm
Chris
wondering
is.
what your current story is. I've been waiting patiently. Bought a tinfoil hat.
Yeah, you'll like this one, actually.
All right.
600 New Mexico residents have been alerted by authorities to hand over their home security footage after the bizarre disappearance of a retired Air Force general and UFO expert enters its 11th day.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. He was taken by a ship.
Investigators contacted the Albuquerque homeowners to gather the home camera footage and information in an effort to track down 68-year-old William McCasland, who vanished without a trace from his home February 28th, according to the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office. A police spokesperson said investigators have contacted more than 600 homeowners to request security footage and information because to date, no sightings have been reported. Local authorities working alongside the FBI said they've received dozens of tips in the missing persons case, although none have yet to bear any fruit. Cops said McCaslin left his phone behind when he mysteriously disappeared on foot from his home. Authorities did issue a silver alert for the retired general, but an investigative journalist warned the case amounts to much more than a missing senior citizen, calling it a grave national security crisis. Ross Coulthart is a journalist. He said in the latest edition of his Reality Check podcast, this is a man with some of the most sensitive secrets of the United States in his head.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
With this war in Iran and with each passing day of the Trump presidency, UFO news is going to continue to grow exponentially.
You guys.
Well,
come on.
No, it's going to happen. You watch.
Joe,
There'll be more and more UFO news.
As somebody who
we always get them in times of crisis.
As somebody who obsesses over this on a daily basis, he did what a lot of us want to do.
He just left.
He went out for a pack of smokes and
he
never came back.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
The Coulthart said the timing is, and this is an odd adjective, screechingly relevant.
Screeching.
What is screechingly relevant?
The fact that General McCaslin has disappeared off the face of the earth is a grave national security crisis for the United States. All of this comes just days after President Trump announced in a Truth Social post that he was directing the Department of Defense to prepare the release of files related to UFOs and extraterrestrial life. During his military career, McCaslin headed up research at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, a role in which he oversaw classified space weapons programs.
In all seriousness, though, guys, this is an inside job, right?
Yeah.
This is from somebody else in the government that snatched him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Taking him out so he can't tell us anything?
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, they're out
You're probably
there.
next, Such.
We're going to hear from them.
Sometimes
I'd be
they grab
careful,
you.
Such. You're probably next.
I don't care.
Yeah.
If that got me out of Minnesota, I'll take it.
Well, do you want me to help that?
Put
I can
me on
make
a
that
ship.
happen. I know some guys. We could make that happen.
Okay.
I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years alive. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, Johnny!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Jenny, hey!
something else I should be doing for my heart. If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed. My hair grows in my ears and nose now more than on my head. As a kid, to me, ancient history was something like World War I. But I arrived close to that time and this year as I sing this song. And I'm starting to find I can wrap my mind around life is brief and dear. I can hardly believe my baby girl's turned 26 this year. For a little while it seems you got time to choose.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Lake where the sun sets slow and dreams awake. Here in Gumption County we make our stand.
That's Mike Holkinson.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to read you an email from him in a moment.
That warm bass sound.
Right now, my eyes are on a Moto Guzzi motorcycle. On sale at EcoFund for $71.99. It's the Moto Guzzi V7 preseason sale up at EcoFund in Forest Lake and down in Burnsville. Electric bikes starting at $8.99. 400 electric bikes in stock. The snow's going to be gone permanently pretty quick, and you want to be riding an electric bike. You want water equipment? Wave runners and jet skis, they'll throw in the trailer for $1,500. That's a $1,500 trailer.
Nice
it's a
bargain.
beautiful trailer. It's going to be the most fun store you'll ever spend time in. EcoFund Motorsports in Forest Lake / Columbus. I consider it for it. Oh, look at what I'm looking at on the
Look
screen.
at the
Yeah, you got the
screen,
whole
Joe.
They
screen.
just
This place
have
is
so much great stuff. It's
huge.
wonderful. And it's right on Highway 97, immediately west. That's what I'm looking at right there.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's got the Moto Guzzi, the
Oh, I love
Yamaha,
it.
Kawasaki. Wow.
Immediately west of the interstate on Highway 97
Side
in
by
Forest Lake.
sides. Wow.
And down in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life. And there's no excuse to leave there without the perfect fit because Kaylin Bloom, Tim's daughter, is the expert on electric bikes in this country, if not the entire world population.
Mm-hmm.
EcoFundMotorsports.com. See, there's Mike Holkinson.
Hail the fireworks commissioner. Hail the last
you.
light king.
He has done some wonderful music for us. He has a note here. He was contemplating the 250th anniversary of the country the other day. And he had one of those moments where he realized just what a short time span that actually is. To put it in perspective, a 50-year-old person has been alive for 20% of the existence of the United States.
Uh-oh, we're doing math.
Oh, wait, what was that? Read that again. So I can.
It's not that complicated.
Yeah, it is.
A 50-year-old person has been alive for 20% of the existence of the country. An 84-year-old person has been alive for 1/3 of the existence of the United States.
How does that feel, Joe?
250 is 100%.
That's right. If you were 250 years old, you would have
50
been
would
here
be
for
a
the
quarter.
entire country.
Then another quarter is 100.
And then he's all
No,
saying
that's
this.
not right.
What?
God help me. Really,
50%.
there's nothing wrong with his math.
The 50 and 250 is correct. It's 20%.
Yeah.
1/5. Just reduce it. It's a fraction. Reduce it to a
Honest to
fraction.
God.
I mean, how
Well,
do you?
you know what the ultimate point is for Mike? 100
That he's-
years ain't what it used to be.
That he's not very good at math either.
Oh, he's,
100 years ain't voting.
no,
Mike, that's okay. We like you anyway, buddy.
50 is 20% of 250.
Well, if you say so.
It is.
Well, it is.
I mean,
that's a fact.
Okay, if that's what your calculator says.
Since we've had great fun at his expense, 6 years ago would have been the 244th anniversary of this country when we lost the great man, meaning he was alive for basically half of this country's existence.
Yeah.
No, that would be 50%.
What did I say?
Yeah.
So
Well, half is
He'd have to-
50%.
No, it'd have to be 125
of
is half.
250. It would have to be 125.
He said almost. He was being
Well, it's not even
hyperbolic.
close
Big
to almost.
stretch. Come almost over the line.
I have a space management ruling to issue.
You were over the line.
I think
It'll melt.
I think this is the way I'm handling it from here on in, given that it's March 11th. I'm not maintaining space management anymore, but I'm not putting any equipment away or treating it with Seafoam yet.
You can't do that yet.
Because sure enough, if you button that baby up and put her in the back shed, you're going to get a blizzard in April.
I have to issue a caveat to that, though. Sidewalks and steps, get them done.
They melt.
Get the steps done.
We got a lot of urban heat down here to
Get
sustain
the
of an urban
steps.
core.
I will sue you into next year.
Well,
if I
fortunately,
go
I don't
down.
have any steps, so I'm good.
Do you need any steps?
I don't.
But the thing is, though, Kenny's right. You got the Amazon guy showing up at your house basically every hour.
Yeah, I have to clear it for him.
He's got his own belt. He's got his own belt to get the stuff
He's
up
got
there.
his own personal
Yes.
parking spot at the suture house.
In the summer, she puts food and water out there like she's feeding animals.
He might be thirsty.
Yeah. I'm not kidding.
You want to come in for some lunch?
Oh.
Is he over there when you're at work?
I think so.
You can only hope, huh?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Same here.
You know, what the hell?
Oh, my God.
When she has days off, I leave. I try to give her privacy.
Yes, right.
She might have something going on.
Right.
You have to work on Sunday again? Yeah, it's just the podcast. I mean, geez, what are you going to do?
You enjoy the day. I'll be home at about 6. So, wrap it up by 5:30.
In fact, I'll call first, tell you I'm on the way.
I'll give you a warning call.
Send you a text.
Is the coast clear? I come home.
Hey, are you okay? Here I am. I'm here now. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, it's only because they come to us.
Hold on.
Are we
Hold
there
on.
already? Wow.
Do you
Kenny's gotta
remember
tell us something.
on Monday, Chris, you played a bit of audio, a DHS employee, a whistleblower,
Yes.
who is testifying at Congress. I think it was last month, right?
Jenna.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Faye Bernstein.
Faye Bernstein. Sorry. Thank you.
Hey, we
And,
just played her the other day.
Yes.
Yeah, as soon as we had her on, I called Jay Coles. Jay Coles found her, and that's who we're talking today. We're talking to her today on the Krabby Coffee Shop.
Wonderful.
Nice.
That'll be fun.
Only because they come to us all the way from Penguin, Tasmania, the home of the traveling Lymans at worldwidewaftage.com. It was on this day.
Joe, today is March 11th.
Well, it was on this day in 1862 the troops of the 1st Minnesota Infantry Regiment occupied the town of Berryville, Virginia, where they found a print run of the local paper half completed. Members of the company printed their own 4-page edition, which contained humorous news about the Army and the war. Copies of this paper are rare and valued Civil War memorabilia. Boy, I could bet that would be neat to
I
have
bet
that.
the funny section was pretty good.
Yeah,
You're
that
not
was
going to believe
hilarious.
this.
Beetle Bailey and
My ancestors started that town,
I don't believe it. So
Berryville.
yeah.
Berryville, Virginia.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be Olsonville?
No, it's on my mom's side.
Oh.
And then on my grandpa, her dad's side.
I wonder if they have a copy of this Civil War.
do you have any
edition.
proof of that?
I do, and not only that, but they one of them made arch enemies with George Washington. I guess Washington was a real prick, and my Irish family had no problems telling them that.
Really?
So if you think I'm disgruntled, it goes a long way back.
I mean, the guy started a country. No
On this
respect.
day,
Yeah, but he was a
11th.
bastard.
Okay.
in 1863, the Mississippi, Pillager, and Lake Winnebagoshish bands of Ojibwe signed a treaty with the government that consolidated and expanded the Cass Lake, Winnebagoshish, and Leech Lake reservations into the Leech Lake Indian Reservation in north central Minnesota. The treaty, which was renegotiated in 1864, required numerous Ojibwe living elsewhere in the state to move to Leech Lake. I bet they
that's
didn't,
not a positive. That's
I
a
bet
negative.
they didn't like that, did they?
They got screwed over by the white man.
Berryville was established in 1798 by Ben Berry and his wife Sarah.
I don't know.
Is your kid named after Ben?
Berry.
Ben Berry?
No, I didn't know this when I named
Why do you say
my
yes?
son
That
Ben.
was a perfect.
Oh
guess.
yeah, you should have said yes.
You
You got
said
one
yes.
out of
You weren't-
yeah,
you
Joe,
You
he
weren't
is.
thinking like
Wow,
rookie.
okay.
As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, he is
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
What does he drive?
He's got only 2 trucks.
Okay.
The kid's got one to go.
Volkswagen Tiguan, he said.
I
And Joe bought it.
really. I remember this one from last year on this date. It happened again.
March 11th.
1893. Wanda Gag was born
Yeah.
in
I'm
New
seeing
Ulm.
in living color.
An author and artist, she wrote and illustrated the children's classic Millions of Cats.
Didn't we find out that there is a building named after her? Or
Yeah, the
something?
Gag building or
In New
something.
Ulm.
Didn't we talk to some guy who ran it?
I think somebody sent us a note.
Where does your dad work? At the Gag building.
Wanda Gag.
Well,
Now
no.
there's a little thing above the A. An
Well, they're-
umlaut or something.
Yeah, but the
Is
warehouse
it
was
Gog?
the warehouse was
squiggly.
split because they made sports equipment. It was the Ball and Gag building.
Gag. Wanda Gag, born in New Ulm, and she was very famous as the author of Millions of Cats.
Yeah,
What else
and,
did she do? It must have had a fun hobby, huh?
Wanda Gag House does exist in New Ulm.
It does. Well, Matt,
What
I
goes
just
on
read
there?
that she was born in New Ulm.
You said it wrong. It's New Ulm.
On this day in Minnesota sports disappointment history,
Who'd we lose to on March 11th?
well, on this day in 1999, Stephon Marbury was traded.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good trade.
To the Nets.
Get rid of
He's
him.
long out of the league, isn't he?
He was a huge superstar in China for years.
Really?
okay.
Yes. Is he out of that league?
No,
now,
in
too?
fact, he
Sold more than the Beatles in Zimbabwe.
Well,
No,
but
he actually
99
made-
is 30 6
27
years ago.
27.
What?
27 years ago.
Was he the one that had to put food on his?
That's
Oh,
Latrell
yeah.
Sprewell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
26 years ago.
7.
27 years ago.
Attaboy.
So he'd
20%.
still be 47.
Yeah, yeah. He's got a statue.
In China?
Yes, sir.
I'll be damned.
We have breaking news out of the White House.
Yeah.
And this is not an effort to make the newsman outraged by any means. Caroline Leavitt, Johnny's favorite, the White House press secretary, issued the following statement.
Media. Let me be very clear. The Save America Act does not prohibit anyone from voting with the exception of illegal aliens. And the greatest way to disenfranchise American citizens from voting in American elections is to allow illegal aliens to vote, which is what Democrats want to do. We see it taking place in Democrat jurisdictions at the state and local level across this country. So this
Well, I don't want illegals to vote either.
Yeah, I don't
anybody
either.
does. I don't think
Isn't that
anybody
weird?
does.
Stephon in his career made
love you, John.
$151 million from 96-97
What's he
to
got left?
08-09.
I bet he's got a lot. No, because he owns the shoe company that ended up endorsing him.
He's 49.
I bet he's got a lot of money left.
So he was
he
a
have like
sharp
a
character.
A $20 shoe or something? Remember,
Yeah,
you
he
could buy it
made
really
shoes
cheap.
very reasonable for young kids to buy.
Well, good for him.
Yes.
$14.98, the Starberry.
The Starberry.
You want me to buy you a pair?
No.
Born and raised in Coney Island, went to PS 329, the elementary
what?
school. No, I'm just saying that's a bad school name.
Is that a Jesuit school?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know, no, it wasn't. It's a PS means public school.
329, yeah.
Public school 329.
Anyway,
He played many years with the Beijing Ducks.
thank
the
you,
Ducks.
GLers.
Thank you, GLers.
Please do us a Please do us a favor. And if you haven't done so already, join the over 20,000 subscribers to the Garage Logic YouTube channel. Yeah, that's right. Garage Logic has a YouTube channel where you can watch the show each and every single day starting right around noon. And you can also see full segments, video shorts, and behind-the-scenes footage. And you can also search for us on all of our social media channels. That includes Facebook, Instagram, and X. And also, don't forget to sign up for the Daily Logician. That's an email that comes right to your inbox each and every single day. And it includes the most recent episode of the podcast, Find out more and sign up today online at garagelogic.com. Matthew?
Fun fact, on April 25, he married Chinese singer and former Voice of China contestant Wang Yuling.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet she did.
Philadelphia.
Wedding night.
Well, I think there's